Hi, I'm Jonathan Field from Open5th, and what's on my mind today is harvesting in Koha using the Open Archives Initiative Protocol for Metadata Harvesting, or OAI-PMH for short. So many of you are probably aware that in the prior to 2411 there is the option under System Preferences to enable Koha to be a OAI-PMH target, so a server. So that means you can have other external systems harvest the Koha catalog data into their system. So that's often used by things like discovery services, where you might want to add the MARC catalog metadata to the discovery platform in order to search it. Now, this new change in 2411 is the absolute opposite of that. It allows Koha to be the client, and it allows Koha to go out and harvest other services, external services that support OAI-PMH. And the way this works is a new setting in 2411 under the Koha administration, and it's down here under additional parameters, and it's an option here called OAI repositories, where you can add the repositories that you want to add to Koha. And if I just add a new repository, you can see that you could specify the repository name, the endpoint, repository set, the data format, what type of data it is, and an XSLT file for transforming the data. Now that's particularly useful if you're doing perhaps something like XML into MARC 21. You need to transform it back into MARC 21. And just to give you an example of one that works here, if I just edit this one that I set up previously, you can see here that I'm using the standard delivered OAI to MARC 21 transformation XSLT style sheet against my repository. And the data format that I'm expecting in this repository is Dublin core, so XML. And all of the things like the sets, the endpoints, they're all described here under the OAI protocol, under the specifications. So if you need to sort of understand a little bit more about the repository itself, then it's all documented here. Now, once you've set this up, that's it. Aside from there's a cron job that runs in the background that periodically harvests the data. In this case, I'm harvesting it from this Atom archive, but just to give you some ideas of how this works, this is the help file for the cron job to do the harvesting. So it resides in the same area on the server as all the other cron jobs, and if we look at the help, you can see we've got the following settings. And just to explain those in a little bit more detail, if I use the list option, it lists the repositories that I've configured under that setting under system administration. So here's the repository that I just set up. And then we actually come to harvest it itself. You can see we pass a number of parameters to the cron job to do the harvesting, and obviously we can periodically set this up. So if we want it to harvest every night or once a week or once a month, then we could change the parameters of this. But in this case, I pass the repository ID number, so I only got one repository in my system, so it's repository number 1. How many days to harvest, so we can incrementally harvest if they're perhaps records being added every day. We don't want to harvest them all every day, but we want to incrementally catch up. We can set verbose output, so we can see a little bit more about what's going on with the harvesting script, and then we can force the harvesting to go ahead. Now, once that's done, what you'll see is that the data ends up in Koha, and this collection here, which is a little collection about Michael Kelly, if I just search for Michael Kelly, these are some records that I harvested previously, and you can see that we've got some records here relating to this person. that have been harvested into Koha. And these have come from that Atom repository, as I described earlier. And we can see under the, if we just find a record here, hopefully we can see the repository link here. So this is the link to the record in the actual repository itself. So I hope you found that useful. It's a great new feature, adds something else to Koha, I think, and we look forward to seeing you next time.